There we go. Okay. Anyways, so mem test starts with another reason why a belt doesn't lose its tumah status, because it can be used for something else. And then we had a whole Amud of whether Rabbi Yochanan says that it loses its tumah status even if it's being used for something else. For example, like to take a bell and to use it as a cup, right? So does that make it that it's still tumah because there is a use for it? Then Amabez is a machlokes if a woman could go out with that gold ornament. Machlokes about going out with a tiara. The story of Levi coming from Eretz Yisrael, right? He lost his chavrusa because his chavrusa became the Rosh Hashiva. Then going out with a belt, going out with a bib, going out with nose rings and earrings. Now, we discussed the belt, right? So we discussed whether you're allowed to wear a gartel in the street. So
did you do your homework?
I did my homework. So the Piskei Chuvas basically says, like Elio Ikavik, a shout out to Phoenix, right? That he said that if it's part of the, well, he's going to say uniform. I don't know what anybody else is going to say, but if you wear a bekisha, and therefore with the bekisha automatically comes along a gartel, so then that's part of the, I'll say uniform, but many of you will probably say costume, whichever it is. But again, we're looking for achtas here. So, yeah, we see the bekisha people smiling. Yeah. But if that's part of the getup, then that's certainly not carrying. He didn't have such a clear heter for those that wear regular suits to wear a gartel. I mean, those that just wear a gartel for davening and they don't wear it outside in the street. He did not have very clear-cut heter. Bottom line, it comes down to machlokes, mechaber, and the Ramah. According to Sfardim, it would be no problem. That's the funny part because they don't wear gartels, right? But the Sfardim, the mechaber holds that it would be okay to wear two belts, and the Ramah is the one that's machmer. So the question is the Ramah machmer by something that you need as part of your uniform? Would that apply to it? Right? Because that really is, that second belt is a tzarech. So if you wear a bekisha, you certainly could wear it. If you don't wear a bekisha, then really the best thing, from what I remember he says to do, it's almost 24 hours ago that I saw it. So that's about the max of my memory, if that even. So it says that you should try and at least have the belt perform some sort of function on your body to keep it, your pants tight or whatever it is. Okay, so with that, we start, what we leave off with? On the bottom of, it's a relatively easy daf though, so tonight. One of the more interesting gezeiras ever in the history of Klal Yisrael is part of tonight's daf. But we start from Nun Tes Amud Beis, Nizmei Af. Right? I'm sorry, not with a ring that has no signet. Right? Yeah, not with the, yeah, that's still talking about, there's two different types of rings, that's a hakdama. There's two different types of rings. There's a ring that has a seal in it, right, that you would put it onto, and it's like a stamp, right? And then you have a plain ring that's there for beauty. Right? So those are the two types of rings. Not with a ring that has no seal. So meaning a woman cannot go out with a ring that has no seal. What about a ring that does have a seal? So then what's the din? It's not mashma that she's allowed to go out with it. The din is that you'd be chayiv chatas. If you went out with a ring that has a seal, that has nothing to do with, that's business related, right? That's not for beauty. That's not to make her look nice. A ring without a seal is there to make her look nice. So therefore it's usr, but you putter. Meaning it's really mutter because it's jewelry. She wants it there. But the chacham made a gezeira because we're afraid she's going to take it off and show it. That's if it has no seal, it's putter. But if it has a seal on it, that's strictly for business. A woman should have no reason, or a man should have no reason to wear that ring on Shabbos outside. So therefore, it's masha to be chayiv chatas, to which the Gemara is going to ask a kasha on that from Tumah. Okay? So which we've learned already before, that Tumah and Shabbos seem to be intertwined. If she has on it a seal, if she has a signet ring or a seal on it, then she's going to be chayiv. Alma lav tachshitu. So you see that it's a ring with a seal is not a tachshit, it's a masui, it's a load. Right? We said before a couple of blot ago that anything that is jewelry or a functioning kli can become tummy. If it's not jewelry, then it won't become tummy. Right? So we say tachshite noshim tameim. So a jewelry from a woman can become tummy. What are tachshite noshim? Katlois, nizamim, v'tabois. Right, so necklaces and rings, nose rings and regular rings with tabas, and the tabas and a ring, it's whether it has a seal on it, whether it doesn't have a seal on it. right? V'nizmei af, and then nose rings. V'amar of gezeira. And so, okay, so that's it, right? So you see clearly in this brisa that a woman's rings, whether it has a seal in it or whether it doesn't have a seal in it, it's going to become tamei, right? That means it's considered jewelry. If it's jewelry, then you're not going to be chayiv chatas if you go out in the street with it on Shabbos. So V'amar of gezeira lekasha harem nechemia rabbanon. One is Rabbi Nechemia, one is Rabbanon. The Tanya, we have a brisa. He shall matches v'chasama shall almoy. If the ring is made out of metal, but the seal part of it is made out of wood, some sort of fancy wood, yeah, tmeya, then the ring is going to be tamei. He shall almoy, but if the ring is made out of the wood, v'chasama shall mateches, and the seal is made out of metal, tahira, then it is tahar. So you see that according to this, so far you see according to this brisa, that it's going to go with, it's going to go with the ring part, not the seal part. Rabbi Nechemia says it's tamish. By a ring, you go after its seal. So whatever the seal is made out of, that's going to be tamei. So if it's made out of wood, it's not going to become tamei. If it's made out of metal, it will become tamei. But all by a yoke, halach achar simloinav. By a yoke is something that they, not an egg. Okay, it's a thing that they put around the cow's or the ox's head to make sure it keeps its head straight. So by the all, you go after some of those are the two outer pieces that keep it on. That keep the pieces of wood around the ox's head to keep it straight. Right. So depending if part of the yoke is made out of wood, but the samloinov are made out of metal, then it's going to be tamei. If the samloinov are made out of wood and the rest is made out of metal, then it's not, because you go with the samloinov. The chiyuv. Right, a chiyuv is like a board that they put merchandise on to sell it. That's wider on the bottom and thinner on the top. That's what Rashi says. So it goes with the nails, meaning if the nails are made out of wood, so then it's going to become tam. It's not. It's going to be tar. If the nails are made out of metal, then it's going to become tamei. Besulam. How about a ladder? A ladder, you go with its rungs. If the rungs are made out of wood, it's not tamei. If the rungs are made out of metal, and they'll be tamei. But arsi, right, by a bed, halach, that's all Rashi really says. I'm sorry, it's not really a bed. Rashi is ba'arsa. Here it says ba'arsi. It's a what do you call it? Forgot. When you weigh things on a scale. Thank you, a scale. Ba'arsi, halach achar shal shalosav. You go after its chains, meaning if the chains that are holding up the scale. Right, in the old-fashioned scale, right? You had two things that, and then held by chains, right? And they would act as a counterbalance on each other. So whatever the chains are made of, that's what you go with. That's actually the everything goes after what's holding it up. Okay, so that's it. So whatever it is, you see that it's a machlokes whether you go with the main part of the ring or not. So that's what we're going to say here too. Do we go with the main part of the ring or not? Is machlokes, meaning it's one brisa is going with the sheet that holds that you go with the main part of the ring, in which case you are allowed to wear it on Shabbos, and it would become tamei. And the other sheet holds that you don't go with the main part of the ring, so therefore you go with you don't go with the part of the ring, you go with the signet, with the seal, so therefore it would be tamei and you would be chayiv on Shabbos. Right. By the way, this also plays into Tfilas Kalim. Do you go after the maimed or not? Meaning, if you have like those kid spoons that have plastic and there's a little bit of metal, or spatulas, a lot of spatulas you have that are metal and the ends are plastic. So do you go with the main part of it, or do you say that there's metal there? You go with the base. The whole thing is based on metal. If you wouldn't have metal, it wouldn't need tefillah, right? So therefore, you go with that's a machlokes. Because l'maisa we're machor tfilas kalim because it's easy to toivel kalim, so we're always machor either way. But that's a machlokes by tfilas kalim too. Fine, that's one teretz. Another teretz.
Is that the vote here?
What?
Is that's the machlokes here? Whether you go after the maimed or what's the main part?
No.
Is the main part
the teretz for the Gemara? The teretz it had nothing to do with the teretz of the Gemara. The teretz of the Gemara is what's the main part. But just this machlokes chachamim. The Chum say that has to do with that. With the other sheet, that has to do with machlokes. But no, in our Gemara, that's Chacham is just because that's the end of the brisa. Rav Amar Litztodim Katani. This is the first place where we see that there's a difference between jewelry for a man and jewelry for a woman. It's going to be coming up a lot in the next couple of blocks. Rav Amar Litzadim Katani. You have to split the brisa. Yeshal chaysam tachshit ish. If it has a seal on it, so that's a tachshit for a man. If a man were to wear that ring that has a seal on it, so for a man, that is jewelry because he's showing everybody, oh, I got my seal ring for a man, that's something. Ain't a chaysam, but if it doesn't have a chaysam, then it's a tachshit to isha. Then it's a tachshit for an isha. But with the chaysam, it's not going to be a tachshit for a woman. A woman's not going to walk around with pride that she has a seal. Now that women are in the workplace and they have all sorts of high-level positions, that halacha maybe changes. I don't know. Okay, fine. Rav Nachman Yitzchak Amar, he has a different teretz. Tuma Shabbos karamas. You're asking a stira from Tuma to Shabbos. Tuma kli maisa Amar Rachmano klihu, right? Tuma has to do a kli maisa. It has to be able to do something. In order for it to be tamei, it has to be able to have a function. So therefore, it's a kli. A ring is a kli. Whether it has a seal in it or doesn't have a seal, it's a kli. Shabbos mishum masay Amar Rachmano. Right? Of Shabbos, the whole issue is whether it's going to be carrying something that's not necessary. If it has no seal, it's a tachshit. If it has a seal in it, then it's a masu. It's not meant for jewelry. Right? Very simple. I don't know. This teretz is the simplest of the tirutzim. Right? Again, by tuma, if it's a functioning kli, it can become tummy. So it can function, this ring, whether it has a seal or whether it doesn't have a seal. It's a functioning ring. It's a kli. It can become tummy. But for Shabbos, we only allow you to go out, at least the deraisa, with jewelry. Something with a seal on it is not jewelry. Fine. You can't go out with a how do you call it? A needle that has no hole in it. Lamai chazia, right? So meaning it sounds like, but if you go out with a needle that has a hole in it, then what? Like the same diak that we said before. Right, then you're going to be chayiv, right? So, but if it doesn't have a machat, then you're still not allowed to take it outside. So, what kind of tachshit is it? What is a needle without a hole? What is it going to do for you in the beauty department? So, what a woman does is she wraps her hair around it, right? Sometimes they have extra hairs that poke out from whatever it is that they're covering their hair with, so therefore they like roll it up with the needle. So they're not sewing with it, so they don't need a needle with a hole in it. So it's just a plain old needle that they wrap it around and they stick the hair inside. Why don't we say it's like a biris, which is tahar, and it's mutter to go out with. So a biris is basically something that they held up their socks with, right? So that's really, there's nothing really to it other than it's like a piece. I don't know if it's whatever it's made out of. It's there to hold up their socks, sort of like what baseball players used to wear to hold up their socks. I forgot what the stirrups. What do they call them? The metal things on the what? Yeah, whatever it is. So it's something around their legs. So that why don't we say the same thing by a needle? Meaning that those things go around their legs to keep their socks up or their stockings or whatever it is. That's considered an accessory, and we're not afraid they're going to take it off because then the socks are going to fall down. Right? So why don't we say the same thing with this needle? They need it for their hair. They don't want to take it off because then the hair is going to get all over the place. The tishtri and allow it. So now we're going to say a different teretz. Since a woman smooths out her hair with it on Shabbos, that would be the potential thing to do. So that's why you can't carry it. Carry outside. So what is it? What work can you do with this? Amarava tas shel zav yesh al roisha. So they have this metal plate on their hair. B'chol chalekas pasayra. During the week, they smooth out the hair with it. B'Shabbos menichta keneged b'dachta. So on during the week, they use it to smooth out the hair, this needle. And on Shabbos, they leave it on that metal. I don't know if it's a magnet. I guess they stick it into the metal, and it becomes part of the jewelry. So therefore, since it now becomes part of the jewelry, so we're afraid that they may take it off to show it to their friend, right?
We're afraid they're going to take what off? The whole piece?
The needle, just the needle.
Even though it became part of something else, technically.
Yeah, we're afraid, yeah. That's the way I understand it. They're going to take just the needle. They're not going to take off the whole tas, because then hair is going to be uncovered. It's just the needle part they may take off. Yeah. Okay, fine. Zog the Mishna. Yeah, this is one of the more famous Mishnayos just simply because the gezeira is so wild. This gezeira from the Chachamim is so wild that that's why this Mishna is famous. So lo yetze ish b'sandal ha'masumar. A man is not allowed to go out with cleats, basically. I don't know if you'd say cleats. Yeah, basically metal nails in the bottom of the shoe. And he can't go out with one shoe when there's no cut on the foot. But if there's a cut on the foot, then you could go out with one shoe. Tefilin, you can't go out with tefilin in the street on Shabbos. You can't go out with a kamiya, an amulet, if it's not proven to be from a mumcha. Right? We had that already. Right? And I think Shirayan, I looked it up in the article today, that's a coat of mail, right? So isn't that like the armor, basically? Right? Not with a helmet, and not with, that's, the Gemara is going to discuss all these things, exactly what they are, right? And then, but if he goes out with any of these things, he is not chayiv a chatas. Okay? So again, he can't go out with a sandal, but he can't go out with one shoe. He can't go out with an amulet unless it's proven that it works, and then he can't go out with any of these armor things. Because Zakti Gemara, sandal and masumar my timer. Why can't he go out with a sandal that has a nail in it? Because that was the gezeira. No, there was a gezeira, right? Back then there was a gezeira, obviously some form of gezeira against the Yidden, so they hid out. And they hid in a cave. And they said, anybody who comes in can come in, and whoever you can't go out. Meaning sort of like quarantine. Right? You could come in fine, but you can't leave. So one of them wore his sandal with the cleats in it backwards. So then therefore it put the footprint, it looked like the guy was walking around in the cave, but the footprint made it look like somebody left the cave. So they all thought that somebody left the cave, and then the oppressors, the oivim, the people attacking them, are going to see him. And they're going to come on them. They pushed each other, and they ended up killing each other because they trampled each other in such a rush to get out of the cave. So they killed more than that would have been killed by the goyim, right? Which again just shows you that don't you get selfish and about these times, and that it's going to end up leading to bad things. Everybody gotta be calm and whatever it is. So because of that, they made a gezeira, no wearing these metal things on the feet.
Yeah.
Rabbi Loi ben Elazar, he had a different version of the story. They were sitting in the cave, and they heard a voice on top of the ma'ara. And then they thought the enemy was coming. They pushed each other, and they killed each other. More than the enemies were. They weren't in a cave. They were sitting in a shul. And they heard a voice in the back of Beis HaKnesses. And they thought that the enemies were coming. So from that time on, they said, a person should not go out with a sandal that has cleats. Okay? It's fascinating. So what? Because of that one story, therefore, nobody should go out. No, you can no longer wear a sandal. Now we're going to discuss why not during the week, only on Shabbos. Fine. Now what's interesting is which part of the story made it that you can't go out with the sandal with the metal. Right? So there's three versions of the story. One is they saw the footprints that looked like they were going out, but they were coming in. Right? Then the second version is that they heard footsteps on top of the cave. And the third one is that they heard footsteps on the outside. Right? So the Pasha, the reading is that what killed everybody was the people stepping on each other with the cleats, which killed, right? But that's the way Rashi says it. But Tosfos, Tosfos says, they tell me what the pshat is. It's a great Tosfos because it's 4 words. Okay, so I think we could all hack it. Yeah, V'shamu kol. You see the second Tosfos from the bottom. It says V'shamu kol mi al gabi amar kol shel sandal hamasumah. They heard the voice of a sandal. Why is Tosfos saying that? Right? So I think Tosfos is forced to say that because according to the first pshat, Tosfos, the first pshat is that the reason why what caused the whole, meaning what caused everybody to die was the footprints of the sandal. So in the second pshat, the sandal didn't do anything. So Tosfos is saying, no, there was a sandal on the roof. So therefore that sandal is what caused the death. Not that they trampled everybody with the sandal. And the last one also, that they heard the sandal walking outside the shul. It could be that that's maybe why they banned the sandal, because the sandal was ultimately the cause of this whole issue, not necessarily that the sandals would cause the death. Whatever it is, because of this, they made it.
Why would that be a reason, though?
Why is Tosfos saying that?
Well,
why does Tosfos have to say that they heard the footsteps of a sandal on top of the cave? Who cares what footsteps they heard?
Oh, so maybe the second condemner doesn't hold with the answer.
Maybe, or could be. I'm just saying, it's interesting that Tosfos felt the need to say that. There's got to be a reason that he felt the need to say that.
Because he's trying to prove
That's what Tyson is saying.
the reason
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What are you saying?
he's trying to prove why the sandals make it usher. So he has to prove that sandals had a heart.
Right. But why can't he just go with Rashi that the reason why we don't use sandals because they trampled each other with the sandals? Rashi's saying through all 3 pshatim that the reason why we don't wear sandals is because unfortunately they killed each other when they stamped on each other with the sandals. Right? Tosfos, I'm saying, seems like he's not saying that pshat. He's going with a different pshat. He's going with that the sandal was the ultimate cause and the trampling of each other didn't necessarily have to be with a sandal. That's
maybe he thinks that Rashi's pshat would not make it totally usher because they could say it's the trampling that did it, not the sandal. So he's showing you that it's specifically only the sandal that was the problem.
Yeah, but not the sandal. Yeah, but not the killing part. The killing part might not have happened from sand. Maybe it happened also. Right? Okay, whatever it is. So now the Gemara said, they made a gezeira, no wearing sandals on Shabbos. So if that's the case, second line up from the bottom, the obvious question. So if that's the case, and we're trying to make a gezeira based on all this death that happened to Klal Yisrael, so then why don't we say in the weekday also you can't wear a sandal that has cleats in it? Because the story happened on Shabbos, so therefore we're asering Shabbos. So b'Yom Tov lishteri. So why don't we then allow you to wear these sandals on Yom Tov? Because the story didn't happen on Yom Tov. So Allah Matanan, why did we learn Mishalchin Kalim b'Yom Tov, Bein Tfurim, Bein Shein Tfurim? You're allowed to send somebody Kalim, whether they're sewn or whether they're not sewn. Avaloi sandal and masumar, but you can't send them a sandal that has cleats in it. V'loi minol she'ena tofer, and not a shoe that's not sewn b'Yom Tov, right? So clearly, you see that you're not allowed. If you would be allowed to wear it on Yom Tov, then you would be allowed to send somebody this thing. So b'Shabbos my time, madika kanufya. Why are they saying on Shabbos? Meaning, it's not just because this story happened on Shabbos, but it's because on Shabbos everybody gathered together. So b'Shabbos my time, but what's the reason why you're not allowed to? Because there's gatherings. So we don't want you wearing cleats in gatherings. But Yom Tov nami ika knufya. So Yom Tov also has gathering, right? People gather together on Yom Tov. So therefore, they decided to put Yom Tov in with this takana of Shabbos, right?
So during the week they were in quarantine?
Yeah. What do you mean? No, it seems like they gathered together to daven, I guess, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They did have. What do they do?
Fair enough. We're not going there now.
With Shabbos, they trampled each other with the cleats.
Can't hear you.
This may go well that they trampled each other with the cleats. That's what killed them.
Right.
The Shabbos is when you get together. Yom Tov is when you get together. That's what it's saying.
Right. No, right. Yom Tov and Shabbos, you get together. Exactly. That's what it's saying. But on Stama weekday, you don't get together, right? So no minyan during the week. All right. Whatever. Okay. Tainus tzibur ika kanufya, but on a tainus tzibur, everybody gathered in the street to daven. So litzar, so then it should be asur too. So the Gemara answers, Ma'aseh kiyav b'knufi di surah. The Ma'aseh happened when it was a day of Isser, meaning a day that was not allowed to do malacha, therefore everybody gathered. On a fast day, it's a gathering when you're allowed to do malacha, so therefore it doesn't fit into the exact parameters. Yeah? Fine. Right now, this Chanina ben Akiva, there was a story that happened when they went to get the Efer Paro, so they had to take a boat. They had to cross over a river. And they went to get the Efer from the chatas. They couldn't, it wasn't easy to find the Paraduma to get it. And they took it, they were traveling over the water, and the whole thing became tummy because they got a hole in the boat. They found a mace in the boat, a piece of a mace. So it answered everything. So therefore they said from now on, there's no crossing bodies of water with the Efer chatas. Right? So the question is, did it have to be exact body of water that they had back then, or it's any body of water and any boat or anything like that? So Reb Chanina ben Akavi said they only answered it in the Jordan River and the Yarden, ubisfina, and on a boat, and it had to be exact parameters of Ma'aser Shaya. But if for some reason they needed to cross the Hudson River because they found a paraduma there, then that would be fine, right? So good. So maybe he would say the same thing here, that it has to be on Shabbos and no, nothing else. So even he would agree. Again, let me just back up. By the paraduma, the Efer of the paraduma, that was there. He said it because the Yarden is different than other rivers, right? It's different in its depth and it's different in its width. But Yom Tov Shabbos is exactly the same. There is no difference in Yom Tov and Shabbos, only eating, meaning because on Shabbos you cannot prepare, you can't cook food, and Yom Tov you can. Other than that, Yom Tov and Shabbos are exactly the same. So therefore, since the story happened on Shabbos, Yom Tov, it gets included in Shabbos, and that's it. Fine. Then, okay, that's the end of the gezeira. Now we go back to halacha. When did they say that klitz is asur? That's only when you're putting it on there for strength, to strengthen the shoe. But if you're putting it on there for beauty, let's say, you have those helmets, those kids' helmets that have these fake metal things on the top. They want to look like a motorcycle gang. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but whatever. So if you're just putting those cleats onto your shoes for beauty, then it's mutter, because that doesn't fit into the gezeira. And how many can you have on there for noi? You can have 5 on this side of the shoe, and 5 on this side of the shoe. You can have 7 on this side and 7 on this side. I'm going to explain to you what the pshat is. You can have 2 on one side of the shoe, 2 on the other side of the shoe, and then 1 in the middle where you tie the shoe. You have 3 on each side, and then 1 in the middle. So that's where our numbers come from. Meisvei, so I asked the question, a stira, sandal hanoita, if you have a sandal that's leaning, right, meaning one side of the sandal is a little higher than the other side, Aisale Sheva, you can put 7 metal pieces there. Rebbe holds Yud Gimel. Bishlam Rabbi Chanina, who the Amar Reb Nasan. So Rabbi Chanina holds like Reb Nasan because he said 7. Ela Rabbi Yochanan, the Amar Kaman. Rabbi Yochanan who says 5. Who's he going like? Who the Amar Reb Nurai? So he goes like Reb Nurai. Tani Reb Nurai Aimer. Hey mutter v'sheva aser. 5 little pieces of metal on mutter, 7 are aser. Amar Eifa. That's an interesting name, not a common name in Shas. Amar Eifa l'Rabbi Bar Chana Atzan Talmidu Rabbi Yochanan Avidu Rabbi Yochanan. You guys want to tell me Rabbi Yochanan, you do like Rabbi Yochanan. Nah, never Reb Chanina. We're going to do like Reb Chanina, right? Because you got to do like Yerubei. Fine. They asked him, what's the story with 5? He said, even 7 little pieces of cleats are mutter. Test my, what's with 9? Even 8 are aser. So basically what he was telling him is that 7 is good, no more than 7. Fine. The a shoemaker asked from Rabbi Ami. What happens if you sew it on from the inside? Right, meaning you have these metal cleats that we're calling it, and then you line it with leather. So now you're sort of like making it sort of like a shoe. It's a combination of a shoe with this metal. Amarle mutter. So he said it's mutter. My time. So, and I did not know the reason. So Amar Ravashi, my time. Mar doesn't know the reason. Since he sewed something in the inside, havele minol besandal. I'm sorry, havele minol. It's a shoe. Besandal goes by Rabbana, beminol goes by Rabbana. They made a gezeira by a sandal. They did not make a gezeira by a shoe. Meaning, so a shoe that has metal in it is no problem. It's only a sandal, because that's the way the story happened. Right? But like goes by Rabbana, the Rabbana didn't go. If you did it not with cleats, but you did it with a kalbus. If you see to the left, I don't know if you guys must have it somewhere in your Gemara. It's like a hook. It's not actual nails. It's like this hook type thing. So again, that doesn't fit into the gezeira the way it happened. So what's the din? Amalei mutter. So they told him it's mutter. If you did like a kalbus, it's mutter. If they covered over the entire thing with nails, they should take karka chalta, so that the dirt shouldn't get in it, right? When you put something down on dirt is going to wear things out. That's why fences, they always lift up from the ground a little bit so it doesn't get worn down. So what happens if the guy puts these cleats on there, not because he wants it as a weapon or he wants it to dig into the ground, he just wants it that there should be metal in the bottom of the shoe so that it protects his leather from getting eaten up, right? So again, so that's mutter. Tani Kava said, a man cannot go out with a sandal that has nails. He can't even go from house to house. Forget about not going in public. He can't even go in private. He can't even go from bed to bed. But you are allowed to take it to cover over a kli, and to lean the bed against it. Meaning, so basically what he's saying is that you can't wear it anywhere, even within your own house, but it's not muktza. It's not muktza, so you can use it for any use that you find necessary. Rav Shimon says it's asr, meaning it's muktza. Nashu roimas v'roisav. Let's say most of the nails fell off in the shtayr by dalarayeh, and there's 4 or 5 left on it, so then it's mutter. The Rebbe matarat sheva, and Rebbe matters it up until 7, like we said before. If you covered it over with leather on the bottom and then you put nails into it milamala, then it's mutter. Aso, meaning that was what we said before. Aso came in kalbus. If you made it like these little, yes.
When I apologize if I might have missed a step over here. Right now, the nails are on the bottom, under the shoe, or on top of the shoe.
It's going through all sorts of different cases.
Right,
so this one was on the top. Yeah, you're right. This one's on the top.
So when we were doing on the bottom, were we worried about them? I don't know what the lashon is, but not to make a furrow, but to like dig in to be able to plant. That's also a step with planting. Wouldn't that be one of the ulamatas melachas?
What, to walk on the dirt with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a you're right. If you knew that I would say you can't walk on dirt with this. If you know for sure it's going to make furrows, if you want it to, then for sure it'll be awesome. If it's not gonna, if you don't want it, then it's going to be the same old machlokes, whether davar sheina mischaven is mutter or awesome.
Right. Okay. But right now we're talking about on top of the shoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, come in kalbus. I come in tas. I come in yasid. If you did it like a kalbus or with a sheet of metal, or like nails, or if you cover the entire bottom with nails, mutter. So then it's mutter. So you see in the brisa clearly that it's mutter if you cover the whole thing with nails, then it's mutter. Basically what this brisa is saying is that for this aspect of it, it has to fit the exact parameters of the sandal that the story happened with. Now the Gemara just has a stira within this brisa, hagufa kasha, in itself is a kasha. Amrit nashu roiv mismaraisa. If most of the nails fell out, avagav the nishtayru betuva. So it sounds like even though there's many nails left in there, it's still going to be okay. Other Tani Arba Chamisha in Tefilin, then it's the other one says 4 or 5, yes, and more than that, no. Some of Rav Sheshes is like Kasha Kansha Nigmamu Kansha Nekru. Right, one of them is talking about where it's mutter. It's where it got very worn down, the metal. So since it got very worn down, so we're not so worried. So you could have many nails in it. Kansha Nekru. I'm sorry, it got Shigamamu Shenigmamu is where it got a little worn down, but there's still plenty of nail left. So therefore, you only get 4 or 5. Kansha Nekru, it's not recognizable at all. So therefore, I'm sorry, I mixed it up. I apologize. Nigmamu it's very recognizable, right? Because then you see that it didn't do exactly, it's not the way it was created. So therefore it's fine. But Shenekru, right, where they all the metal pieces went away. So now how do you know whether this is a new sandal or an old sandal? So since it may look like a new sandal, because all the other pieces went off, so therefore we have to say only 4 or 5, which is like we said, that you can only have 5 nails in it, according to that shita. Okay, sending one video, yes, Arba or Chamish mutter. It has 4 or 5 nails. Hashta Chamish Shari. You're saying that if it has 5 nails, it's mutter. Arba mibai, do I need to tell you 4? No, what 4 means is that, if it's a small sandal, the guy has small feet, you're allowed to only have 4 nails. The guy has large feet, then you're allowed to have 5 nails. Fine.
Is this Gemara saying that halach is not like, what was his name, Ava before?
It seemed like this, yeah, it sounds...
Comes out like Rabbi Yochanan.
Yes, and a Hanami. I think the other sheetus would hold you could put more, 7. Yeah. This Gemara is not like that, as far as I understand it.
It's the shot in the Brisa. The Brisa comes out like Rabbi Yochanan. Why isn't that halakha like Rabbi Yochanan?
Maybe it is.
He only said before that for other Talmidim, not a Rabbi Yochanan, they should hold like the Rebbe.
Right.
But even he agreed that Ba'atzim halakha is like Rabbi Yochanan.
Right. I hear. And I thought that maybe that's, I don't know. You mean the Gemara should come out based on this price, so that's Rabbi Yochanan. Fair point. Fine. For Rebbe Materat Sheva, and Rebbe allows it up until 7. Vatani Rebbe Materat Shlosh Esrei. Right? Rebbe allowed up to 13 of these metal pieces in the shoe. No, so if the shoe is leaning, it's different. So Hashdados is lucky, Rabbi Yochanan Ami like Kasha. Then the Kasha we had on Rabbi Yochanan before is also not a Kasha. Noit Shani, because when it's leaning, it's different. You can't bring a riot to a shoe that's leaning, and you need to balance it with nails, so then you can put more. Amar Rav Masna Varmi Lo Amar Rav Achtuya Bar Masna Amar Rav Masna Ein Halacha Rav Elazar Rav Shimon. Halacha is not like Rav Elazar Rav Shimon. Right? Rav Elazar Rav Shimon said the Tanakam in that previous price said that even though you can't walk around with these cleats, even within your house, but it's not muktza, right? And Rav Elazar Rav Shimon said it is muktza. So the Gemara says Allah is not like Rav Elazar Rav Shimon.
I don't know. Didn't we have a Gemara saying that Rav Elazar Rav Shimon is even more makel by muktza than Rav Shimon?
I don't know if so. Yeah, I don't know if this is a thing in the muktza or he held this
That's what I was
specifically.
thinking. I think the first Mandama reason why he held was mutter was because it was only a kli shamalach litzer, so it's all a tzaref kufay. And Rabbi Elazar Rav Shimon saying no, we're gezeira on it anyways, even though it's betwee not muktza, it's stomach gezeira.
Right, I hear. I don't know why he says that it's awesome.
Rashi says you might wear it.
Okay, so then that's not al muktzah.
Right.
I mean, it's a special din in the sandal.
Right. That's right.
That's okay. So that's the answer. No.
Yeah, but now
Okay,
I can't find the Gemara.
What?
I can't find that Gemara.
Oh, you're better than me. At least you remembered it.
I may have made it up.
Ain't Allah for Rav Elazar ben Shimon. Allah is not like Rav Elazar ben Shimon. Pshita. Gemara says Pshita. Yachid Rabim. Allah Karabim. When anytime you have a Yachid against the Ram, Allah is like the Rabim. The same time of the Rav Elazar Rav Shimon. You would think no. In this situation, Rav Elazar Rav Shimon has a very good reason. That the reason why he doesn't want you moving this thing is because you may end up deciding to put it on your feet. Kamash Malan. That even so, we don't pasken like Rav Elazar Rav Shimon. Amar Rav Chia. He loved the Karol. This is an interesting Gemara. Amar Rav Chia. He loved the Karol Bavloi Shari. If they wouldn't call me the Bavel guy that matters everything, the Karol Bavloi Shari Yisuri. If they wouldn't make fun of me and call me the the Babylonian who matters Isurim, Sharina Beituva, I would have allowed a lot more cleats. For Kamo, how many? But Pumpadisa Amrin Esther Va'arba. In Pumpadisa, they said he would have allowed 24 of these metal nails. The Surah Amrin Esther V'tartin, and in the Surah they said 22. Their simon to remember that is Ata Asami Pumpadisa Surah Chasa Tarti. From when it came from Pumpadisa, the Surah is missing 2 because Pumpadisa said 24 and Surah said 22. So he didn't want to be matir though because they would have called him the guy from Bavel, right? Chutz La'aretz, right? The Chutz La'aretz guys are always being matir things, right? That's right. So fine. All right, that's it for tonight's daf. Sorry if it was a little.
Isn't there a song, Tiago? Song of the daf? Isn't there halacha kirabim Israel?
There is a song like that. Yeah, there's a song like that.
Free song, no?
Song, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Halacha l'maisa in this Gemara, you said that it's a big gezeira. What's halacha l'maisa in this situation?
No, I think we pasken. The truth is not really in Shulchan Aruch.
But I'm saying, where do we have cleats that people are going out in sandals with nails and whatever?
I don't think you have it, but theoretically, I would think why not. I don't think we have it.
What do we learn out this?
Are taps.
Are they taps are not metal? Nails sticking out.
But that's the case.
If the guy does a lousy job, then yeah.
But what gezeira did you say we use for nowadays?
What do you mean?
I'm saying we learned something out of this to apply it to what? Anything?
No, you just see that sometimes everybody says like, oh, it's usher. And we say, I don't understand, why is it usher? Why would I ever make this? Why would this ever be usher? So the answer is sometimes the Chacham just made takonas based on what was back then, even if the scenario didn't, changed. It doesn't make a difference. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now I'm sure there were a lot of other stories in the history, and the Chacham didn't decide to answer whatever it was that caused the issue, right? So I don't know.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Gershi, by the way, that farm shrunk behind you, it's got to get a little less if you're moving next week.
Shah, don't tell anyone.
It doesn't look like you're moving. All right,
yeah,
see a couple of farm. Where are the boxes?
It hurts to be. This farm should be the first things to be packed. That's all. I'm pushing it off.
No, if you pack it last, it'll be the first that you open up.
Exactly.
All right, Rabbi Stein, got a Shabbos question for you.
Go ahead.
My daughter got a harness for her rabbit, and she takes it for walks in the yard. Can she put that harness on the rabbit on Shabbos?
What do you say? She wants to put the harness on the rabbit. Why? Wait a minute. Is she lifting up the rabbit?
Like that.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
So what if she can put the harness on without lifting it up?
That's fine. That would be fine.
I heard the rabbit.
Unless you want to go with the lenient opinions that hold that it's like a toy nowadays and it's not muktza.
That's definitely a toy.
So I mean, there are lenient opinions. So she's she bas mitzvah?
Yeah.
So let's one of the ones that are not bas mitzvah. I don't know if that's good chinuch. I don't know. What happens if you do it without the harness? It's gonna run away?
Yeah. Find a hole in the fence, go into the wetlands.
Jesse, just wait till your new house. You won't have a yard. It won't be an issue.
Yeah. Well, I'll still have a yard bigger than yours. So better not to use the harness on Shabbos then.
It would be better not to.
Okay, then she'll live.
But if you can get it on without moving it, then you could do it.
I'm not so sure that's possible. So okay.
All right.
So when will you let us know what the rabbi thinks maskana was?
I'll probably hear about it in an hour. The action should start.